Make some sticky buns today. I have 2 teaspoons of yeast. This is just your quick rising yeast, and 1.5 cups of warm water. I like to get those 2 things in the mixer first so the yeast can start working with the water. And then I have 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of shortening, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and the recipe calls for 4 cups of flour. I'm going to start with 3.5, and then I'll see if I need to add that last half as it's mixing. I just want to see how it comes together because I don't want my dough to be too heavy. So I'm going to get this mixing and I'll show you what that looks like once it's mixing for about a minute. It's just been a minute. I wanted to do a quick check to see if I have enough flour in here. So it's still a little bit tacky, but it's not all coming off of my fingers. So this is really good. So now I'm going to let this knead for another 4 minutes. So it'll be 5 minutes total, 4 to 5 minutes in the mixer. All right, our dough's been mixing for about 5 minutes. And we're going to get this off the hook. So this is actually my cinnamon bun recipe, but I've pared it down to make for 1 dozen instead of the 1.5 dozen. And my dough is nice and soft. I'll pull that out a bit so you can see it come close in here. So by kneading your dough for 5 minutes, your dough starts to become nice and elastic, and it's a nice soft dough. It's not coming off of my hands. So we're going to let this rise for an hour now. Make sure you cover that. I like to cover it just with a shower cap, or you can have a tea towel over here. And if it's cold in your house, try put it in a warmer place because you want that to rise. Otherwise, you might need a little bit longer if it's cool in the house. So we're going to get that a chance to double up in size. All right, so we're going to do the sticky part of our sticky buns. I have a 1/4 cup of margarine that I've melted in the microwave. You can do this on the stove top as well. I just wanted to do this quickly. And I have 1/2 cup of corn syrup and 1/2 cup of brown sugar. So you want the sugar to get dissolved in this. And if it won't dissolve right away, then you can put it in the microwave for a few more seconds. Alright. So I've greased my 9x13 pan. And I'm going to pour this on. So I'm doing this just before I roll out the cinnamon bun part, so that this is all ready to go. And I just want to spread this over the bottom. And if you have any pecans or walnuts in the house, those are what are the nicest for on here. So I happen to have walnuts. So these will caramelize nicely on the top because we're going to flip the whole thing over afterwards. So I maybe have about 1 cup or 1.5 cups or so of nuts on here. All right, so I'm just going to get this area cleaned up, and then we're going to roll out the cinnamon buns that we're going to put on top. All right, our dough has been rising for an hour. I'm going to pull this out. So very nice. It's a little bit tacky, but not sticking off to my fingers here. So this is the cinnamon bun part that we're going to do. And this is just going to make 12 buns that'll fit perfectly in our pot. So you want to just roll this out into a triangle. Get out any air pockets if you see them. It's actually looking really good. I don't see any. And you can take some butter or margarine. You can do it with your hands or a spoon. And you want to just do a thin layer so that the sugar and cinnamon has something to stick to. All right, get our brown sugar. And don't forget the cinnamon. If you really like raisins, you can add raisins as well. I don't like raisins, so I don't add them. And we're going to roll this up into a long log. So this is just the same as my cinnamon bun recipe. I've just made it smaller for 12 buns. So let's about mark that halfway. So that's 6, and then we'll give us 3 on each side here, in each section. 1, 2, 3, half. And use your bench scraper or dough cutter. That way you're not cutting the counter, but it cuts nice through your dough. And now you've got your pot here, and we're going to just put our cinnamon buns on top of that. All right. I like to flatten them a bit so they're filling in the space a bit more. And we're going to let this rise for an hour. Make sure you cover this with a tea towel so it doesn't dry out. And at about the 45-minute mark, you'll want to get your oven preheating at 375 degrees so that it'll be ready to go at the 1 hour mark. So we're just going to cover this up with a tea towel and let that rise for an hour. The sticky buns have been rising for an hour. My oven is preheated at 375, and I'm going to put these in the oven for 30 minutes. Buns are in the oven, nice and golden. That's what you would like. You get your tray right away. We're going to flip this over because you want all that sticky goodness to flip over on it. All right, take a look there at the bottom. Look at that. And then we got to get this pan off. I probably need a knife to lift that because I don't have a ridge on there. All right. Look at that. There you have your sticky buns. And there's the recipe. Zooming up.